We are in favor of free open source software for case scenario number 2, which is a large company. There are many advantages when talking about free open source software, the main of them being that everybody has the right to modify and tweak the source codes. This means that the code can be used in other pieces of software and adapted to different environments. This access to the source code means that anybody, experienced or not, has now become programmers of not only the source code, but they can edit the code and makes it a lot much easier to fix bugs. This due to the fact that they don't have to access professional help to do it. Instead, they can just open the source code and tweak them themselves. The redistribution of open source software is also promoted, meaning that the bug can be fixed instead of having to wait for a new release or update. In the case of free open source software, we can say that most of the programs last a long period. This because there is no recent updates coming up and you don't have no complications by doing them or requiring more complex equipment like hardware, keyboards, surround sound, the stuff like that. Since a lot of people have access to the code, this means that there's a lot amount of support in the web and forums, for example. Free open source software is free in every sense, in the sense that we don't have to pay for it and you can do whatever you want with it. You can be free, like editing and fixing the bugs. Another advantage of free open source software is that no one has the power to restrict the use of the program and how you use it. In fact, you can do with it whatever you want, of course within your ability of programming. This is the right use of software because it allows the user to program with it not being very easy. It's a lot user friendly and you can edit it even though you're not a professional. Some examples of free open source software is Ubuntu. This program is free and has low hardware requirements. This only requires 1 GB disk space and 1024 megabytes in RAM. Ubuntu can run on any processor, from AMD to Intel. Doesn't matter how low in the market they are. Another example of free open source software is OpenOffice. This is free and can run with the only requirement of the computer having an operating system. This from being from Windows, Linux, Solaris, Mac OS, it doesn't matter. It can be from Windows XP to Mac Lion. Audacity is another example of free open source software. This is also free and can run in Windows XP from 128 megabytes and in Windows 7 from 2 gigabytes. It has really low hardware requirements, as we know most computers have at least 2 gigabytes RAM. Some other examples of free open source software is iTunes, Mozilla Firefox, and Google Chrome.